How many times has a priest heard from people, "Oh, Father, I don't know what to do about my children. They're not practicing their faith anymore. They seem to have abandoned it. They are living with people they're not married to, or they live in irregular situations, marriages, and the children, well, they've given up on them, they're not baptized. What am I to do? What am I supposed to do for my children? I've been on at them, I've told them. You have a go at them, you tell them, because I'll take it from you, but I don't know what to do anymore." Now, that's a common thing that priests hear. And it's not new at all. Today's saint, St Monica, did the same. This is in 4th century North Africa, in Algeria. And she was married to a pagan husband, Patrick. And when she married, she went to live with him and his mother, who was very, very cantankerous. So at the beginning, she had a husband who was a pagan. But not just a pagan, he was also adulterous. And he was probably violent as well. And to a mother-in-law for whom whatever she did, it wasn't right. One of those mother-in-laws. They had 3 children together, 2 boys and a girl. And these children, again, lived as they wanted to, not following any example that she could give. She tried. But she went to her bishop and said, "Look, my lord," this is about Augustine in particular, as he was growing into his teenage years and his early adult years, he was following every philosophical fashion that was going. And she went to the bishop and said, "You tell him. I've given up. I don't know what to do anymore. He'll take it coming from you. I don't know what I should do." Well, the wise bishop said, "Look, dear, calm down." He said, "I'm not going to go and talk with him because he's not ready yet. But don't worry about him. Pray for him. Be his mother and pray for him. And where you are, he will be as well." And they are very wise words. And she did that. She prayed. She prayed for all her family. Eventually her husband was baptized. He died a year later, but he changed and was baptized. And even the cantankerous mother-in-law became a Christian. But with Augustine it took longer. He was very bright. He was a student of rhetoric. He was in love with Cicero. Later he was in love with Plato and those who followed him. But she followed him as his career developed, from Carthage, a city of learning and of sin. Followed him from there to Rome, to Milan, where he was trying to get a job, back to Rome. She was determined to be his mother. But she stopped nagging. She stopped going on. She went to love him, to look after her grandson. Augustine had a little boy with a woman he loved. They weren't married. That woman also became a Christian. Anyway, she prayed. And it was while she was praying that Augustine went through his great series of conversions. That was her part in his life. When he was in Milan, he met the great Bishop Ambrose there. He went to listen to how he preached. He had a certain style. And he went to listen to him and was taken up not so much with the style, but with the content of what was said. And Monica went to see Ambrose. "Well, my lord, go and talk to him and encourage him." And Ambrose said, again, "Calm down, dear. I know what I'm doing." And so Ambrose and Augustine came together with St Monica's prayers. He was baptized with 10 others, including his son, on Holy Saturday by Ambrose, and his mother was there, and what joy she had. And then on the way back with his companions and his son, going back to Africa with his mother, they stayed at Ostia, the port of Rome, waiting for their ship. And it's there that Augustine and Monica could talk freely about holy things, how their minds and their hearts soared up to God. Soared up to God, and then just catching the beginnings of the divine wisdom, knew that there was so much else that was going to come for them. But Monica knew that her work was done. She had seen the conversion of her son. She'd seen him change his life. She'd seen him live by this new faith. Like Ambrose said to her, your faith isn't just in your head. It's got to be the whole way you live. And she's seen this in Augustine. His conversion wasn't just intellectual. It had come that way at the beginning. But the intellect had been taken up into the heart as that was raised to God. And because it's the living God, that faith took over the whole of Augustine's being. And she lived to see that. And that was brought about through her prayers for her son. So then, listen, don't go on at your kids or your grandchildren. They know that you are faithful and practicing. They know that. And they're really grateful for that. And when there are difficult times in their lives, they'll come to you. Always leave the door open. Never shut it, because the time will come when they need you. Likewise, pray for them. Raise them up into God's light. Don't tell God what to do. God knows what he's supposed to do. God knows their hearts better than you do. But raise them up into God's light continuously. And then just be their mum. Just be their dad. Just be their grandparents. Just be their friends. Whatever the person you're worried about, whatever condition they're in, just be what God has put you in your place to be, and pray. And then let God act, and it'll all be okay. How and when and the mechanics of it are not for you to see. But when you pray, the person you pray for and you are one. And that love in which you place them, and that light in which you place them, is eternal and perfect, is divine. And because you've done that for them, it'll be all right. So, get on to St Monica. She's going to be a busy woman in heaven with all the intercessions made to her. And that's what she's there for. For difficult spouses and difficult in-laws and difficult children. And then again, call on those holy angels which are in your homes, all around you, that they'll keep you safe and the ones you love safe, both in this world and the next.